Start, Ranjan.
Yeah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karvahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगेन्द्रम् नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दं गुरुं ब्रह्मा नमाम्यहम्.
We are doing what is Atma, and we have spent some classes already, some sessions already on seeing the first part of the definition of Atma, that it is something distinct, different from gross body, from your subtle body, and from the causal body. As human beings, even the deepest thinking human being would only consider his own identity, her own identity, as one with a body, and maximally it extends up to thoughts, feelings, emotions. We all understand that it is only the body and our thoughts that we actually recognize as us, as me. If you observe a little more deeper, then you can very easily come to the conclusion that these two are something which are perceptible to me easily. Gross body to bahut aasan se, it's very easy to be knowing that I am the gross body because I can see it, I can feel it, I'm hungry, I get tired. So all the time, gross body is my perception the minute I wake up. It's not just my gross body. I look around, I see a physical world. So for me to judge and conclude that my entire sense of knowing myself is in relation to my gross body first. A lot of us are not even very conscious of the kind of thinking we have, what type of thoughts we entertain. We just take thoughts as a natural part of our individuality, and we don't really filter them, we don't look into them. Only people who tend to do this is those who have a little interest in, say, quote unquote, the big terms, spirituality and etc. They kind of come closer to thoughts also. But averagely, we are so entangled, so one, so united, so in conjunction with the body and mind in the idea that this is me. This alone is me. And all that I experience throughout my life, whatever be the emotion, whatever be the doubts, whatever be the uncertainties, fears, anxiousness, wants, hopes, love, care, kindness, well, life is spent with these experiences as if only associated with the body, and my conclusion is I am this. As I say the words, the beauty of Vedanta is that if you're listening with a empty mind slate and just listening, these words can help you recognize the existing experience. There is little understanding in the intellectual sense. Vedantic words are all revelations of existing experience. If they bring it down in a method of a prakriya as one step below the other, it is only to help us identify it in which direction am I to see. So if I refine myself and restate myself just now, then all that when you wake up in the morning, observe what is your sense of identity centered on. जिसको मैं कहूँ, whatever I call myself as I. The minute I wake up, as I say these words, you should transfer them into your experience. Recognize the experience. What is it that you call as I? मैं. What is my cognition of मैं? Minute I wake up, it is centered entirely around the body as मैं, predominantly. My entire vision of what comes in मैं is this body, majorly. After that, some thoughts, feelings, emotions, I have to do this, I want to go here, etc., etc. Vyavharik world, interactional world. So I see myself, I see the physical world, I see people around, but along all of that, I am the center of that perception. Everything seems to be focused from here, me, the center, the fulcrum. From here, I'm interacting in the world. I look at the world from this standpoint. It is entirely the vision that once I have called myself this body and my thoughts, I know nothing more than that. Is this a fact or not? Do you know anything more about yourself other than saying, I am this body and I am these thoughts, I was born, I am certain to die sometimes, and in between, I am this and I am that, whatever you want to call it as, I am educated, I am not educated. All these are only labels that one has put on oneself, centering on this perception. That perception that I am the body, my cognition is this alone is me. Fact or not a fact? Is this a recognizable fact? It is a recognizable fact, yes. That this is me. Vedanta has come up with a big understanding, and it is now lending the perception a little deeper about me. What is it? It says start with the question, where did your thoughts come from? There must be a root cause of it. There must be some seed of it. There must be some basis on these thoughts. Why are your and my thoughts not exactly the same? Why are we, though we have similar functions of the body, same functions in eyes, all eyes see, all ears hear, yet no two people are alike, no two fingerprints are alike. All eyes see, but yet there is something very unique here. What is it that is the base of these thoughts? कहाँ से आते हैं? Where does my thinking emerge from? Why is it I think in a particular way and someone else thinks in a particular way? We have often said in the theory of perception, if I give you an object, okay, let's say this, just this, my fist. When I say my fist, I am looking at it from this point. And if I am asked to describe my fist, I will obviously describe what I am seeing. The direction in which I am seeing is what I am going to call as real. It's my experience. I am not able to see this side, which only you can see. If I and you are asked to describe this fist, and don't think it's a fist, think it's just an object in front. And we are both asked to describe what is it. You are but natural, going to only describe this side, and I am but natural, easily going to describe this side. If we think a little deeper, yes, we will start the projection to say, if I can see this side, it must be having this other side. This other side is something probably I cannot see. But now look at both of us. We are both very certain that we are knowing what we are seeing. That my description is very correct. The thoughts that I have regarding this description, I have no issues with, I have no doubts about, because my eyes are a valid means of knowledge. I am seeing exactly, and I recognize the form, I recognize the color, and I am able to give a description. My thoughts have come from somewhere. I am seeing an object and I see it from a point of view. You are seeing a same object, but you are seeing it from your point of view. Our thoughts have differed. Vedanta said, no thought can come from a vacuum. A vacuum can't create something. Nothingness will not create something. If there is a thought here, forget the object. There is a thought of I, me, my existence. I am so and so many years of age. I am every year aging. This age and my cognition of I is actually a thought. I recognize it as a thought. Where has this thought come from? And I don't just recognize I as existence. I recognize I as existence co-joined to my body. There is a oneness with the body to which I am saying I am existent. I'll repeat this. This is very subtle. In my idea of I, we have said this I is a thought. Kahan se aaya ye thought? From where has it come? And if I look, this I is completely in unison with, non-separate as if. Isko alag nahi kar sakte aap. As if. That as if I'm adding from Vedantic point of view. But from our standpoint, I and the body are one. My idea of I is this body. My idea of I as existent, I am existent, main hoon. I am there. Knock, knock, who's there? Me. Me who? I am there. Where is the doubt about this? But who's there? Ask yourself, which is this I who's there? This body is where I am. I'm one. Now the Sanskrit word for it is tadatmyam. It's a very beautiful word. Tadatmyam means one. है दो चीज, but इतनी जुड़ी हुई है that they look one. Our example is of our coins. The head side and the tail side, and they're chipcode like that. And you can see that as if, or that super glue, when super glue gets glued to something, then absolutely you see them as one. You can't separate them after that. You can't separate the head side and the tail side. Every coin has two sides. Now, this idea of I is like that with the body. I'm not able to separate them. शरीर को अलग करके, am I there? Can you see, even if I ask this question, even if we start thinking along it, it starts to appear funny to most of us who haven't had a Vedantic samskar somewhere, because it seems an absurd question. You are asking me, can I be there without the body? But natural, stupid question. How can I be there without the body? That's exactly what Vedanta is saying. That this is your assumption that you cannot be there without the body. Yes, who cannot be there without the body? The whole bundle of I is centered on the body. Therefore, you can't think yourself without the body. But the question is this I truly only the body? Is that the only ingredient that is there in the I? May. The inquiry is around May. Atma kaha is the question. What is Atma? And we are trying to understand the first part of the definition. What is Atma? To understand that, he says, first of all, identify how you are seeing yourself as one with the body. If this is not recognized as an experience, then everything you hear in Vedanta further is an intellectual information, yes, worth everything. But if you are able to recognize it as an experience, you will quickly move the understanding into recognition of what Vedanta is saying without delay. Like someone had asked, how long will this Atma Vidya take? It only takes as long as you recognize it. It can take janmas, it can be now. It's independent of time. As the words are being spoken, are you able to visualize it, recognize as an experience? And that should be the knowledge. Oh yes, I cannot recognize myself anything separate from the idea of a body. I can't even think of me being there without the body. Yes, if this is so, then Vedanta said, go further. Your body isn't moving on its own. You have recognized yourself to some extent around your thoughts. It's the thoughts that seem to be directing the body, and you are the idea of I as a thought which seems to be bringing everything together and directing the body here, there, wherever, whatever experiences you gather in that process of tadatmyam with the body. Whatever experience one has gathered in tadatmyam with the body. But is this complete me? Shastra says, watch further. That's the point I was stating further. Where has the thought come from? To say where the thought has come from, it says everything has to have a seed. Why are we thinking differently? Same things are looked at differently by two different people. You know, what is that big joke? This is a very old joke. Still applicable though. More applicable maybe now. One man wants to divorce his wife. The other man wants to marry the same woman. Very funny. One person wants to get rid of this person, and the other person wants to associate with this person. Same person. Same you. To your child you are different. To your sibling you are different. The thoughts that you carry, how you look at anything in the world, how you look at the world, how you look at world, how you look at the experiences that you are gathering, how all this seems to be as if filtered somewhere you seem to be having a standpoint from where you view it. Remember this example. That standpoint is the Karan Sharir, the causal body. This causal body, is it the final thing from where all my thoughts emerge? My standpoint seems to be fixed. I always have me, the standpoint. There is no doubt about it for anybody. That is why from one standpoint, everybody is a selfish person. But actually it is not really selfish. It is just as Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mein Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi, it is just Atma Prityartham. It's your self-love. Because all you really see in your experience is yourself. Nobody else is actually seen in your experience. It takes a very, very long time, I think, averagely speaking. For some it can be early, but averagely speaking, it takes a lot of quiet discernment on the statement to come to accept it, because the first obstacle is we all think we are unselfish people. We think about other people. Your standpoint is, it's nothing to do with selfish or unselfish. It is the standpoint from where I'm viewing things. They are always viewed from subjective point of view. This Karana Sharir seems to be fixed. This is the standpoint. Though it is not in my cognition, actively what is in my cognition is only those few thoughts that I have for now, and my body and me. At every moment, what is in my cognition, really speaking? Just this body and a few thoughts. But looking deeper, I know that I am looking at things from a subjective viewpoint. What is this Karan Sharir? Is that the final about it? Am I a helpless person who only seems to cannot shake this standpoint ever away, because Karana Sharir is not a tangible thing. It's not something that I can visualize like my thoughts and my body. I'm told, thoughts cannot come from a vacuum. I understand that. Therefore, there is a seed for it. But that, therefore, there is a seed of it, seems more inferential. It's not something that I can tap into and recognize as an experience, because only experience I can recognize is my standpoint seems to be fixed. My I seems to be fixed. And my vision of I seems to be fixed around the body and thoughts. कुछ भी करके ये अलग नहीं होते. They don't separate away ever in any experience of mine. That standpoint fixation, that causal body, from where these thoughts seem to have emerged, Shastra says, also must be having a cause. And what is that cause? Is one simple cause. It is just lack of real understanding of your own self, of who that I is really made up of. That I ka perception standpoint is not clear to you, therefore it has got somehow by default available only to what my senses perceive. And my senses are only able to perceive the objects. My body becomes an object of my own senses, and therefore it becomes natural for me to quickly conclude I am the body. But it is in the lack of real recognition that the actual you, I, is not just one with the body, not just one with the thoughts, but other than the three bodies, causal body, subtle body, gross body, inse alag hoke, the one who is there as a true experiencer and yet not a part of the experience, is a true experiencer but not a part of the experience. That Atma is your essential being, your essential nature, You essentially are Atma. Atma, Atman is the actual word, Atma is the nominative case. You actually are Atman. That means what? If we have recognized this statement as close to real, this is a very path-breaking statement. It is a shifting statement forever. What is the shift the individual can make now? In my perception of I am only the body and a few thoughts at every time. But when this knowledge becomes clearer to me that my being is Atman, and Atman is the source, is actually the very base of everything that I am seeing here, or including the body and me, my limited sense of I. At every point, what am I? Just this limited, very few thoughts and this body. It's very interesting. If we ever do another workshop, this will be one of the exercises. Even if we don't do a workshop, we can still do it as an exercise. What is the exercise? At every point, what is my cognition is just this body and a few thoughts. इसके अलावा कुछ है क्या मेरे अंदर? At this point, who am I? This body and few thoughts. Next moment, body, thoughts have changed, some other thoughts have come, body and thoughts. Next moment, body and thoughts. Next, half an hour later, body and few thoughts at that time. Thoughts have changed. No? Body is changing, but I am so busy, body and thoughts is me. I don't recognize the change so easily. Now this Atma is actually the being, your own essential being. Different from these three, which are objectifiable. So even you, the one who perceives yourself as the one with the body and thoughts as me, is objectifiable. Isn't it? You can objectify your individuality in your perception. हाँ, ये मैं हूँ. We all have self-images. And we live around those self-images. We create a world around that self-image. I'm going a little more, I think, subtler than probably digestible. But, or whatever it's worth. That I am this body thinking itself is called avidya. And from there has come all my standpoints. So which is the current sharir, which is the fixed sharir point of view? Avidya is that fixed point of view. जिसको मैंने fix किया है. And I have no choice there. My only choice is in ending avidya. Because the minute avidya ends, my standpoint has changed. Avidya has kept this self-focused standpoint. I in the limited sense. My body and my thoughts now, limited I. Half an hour later, body and thoughts, limited I. One day later, body and thoughts, limited I. See the nature of limited I. What is called limited I? Limited by my own avidya. This avidya means that my essential being is something that is there now. But I am caught up with this limited me. My essential being is here now. Who's Atman? My being, my essential nature. Is it something that I am going to produce, discover later, after knowledge? Here, now, my being is Atman, your being is Atman is what Vedanta is telling us. But my non-recognition of this statement, I don't see it as truth. Apple fell, apple fell, apple fell on many a head, apple fell. Nobody recognized gravity till one person said, "Oof, why does it fall down?" And he inquired a little deeper. And after that, all of us are scientists in our own small terms. We all know law of gravity now. We are wise people suddenly. Why? Because now we all understand gravity. जो चीज it no longer is fascinating. In fact, ऊपर फेंकने का मजा ही ये है कि वो नीचे गिरेगी, because we are certain. Supposing it were to float away. Entire science has emerged, taken so many leaps because one person took the courage to think deeper to what was evident even before. Gravity was evident before he discovered it. Newton discovered it before. And it is still evident now after discovery. Gravity hasn't changed just because it's got discovered or just because it was not discovered. This is a big statement for whoever gets it. You know, our mothers used to say, कुछ याद रखने के लिए गांठ बांध दो. They had, of course, saris at that time. Then we moved into chunni mein gaant bando. Then we moved into handkerchief mein gaant bando. But now in the world of tissues, we don't know where to gaant bando. But please gaant bando. What is a gaant bando? The gaant bando means remember this statement. What? Gravity before discovery, after discovery was always evident. Having got discovered, gravity में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. Its number didn't change. We only discovered it. But the discovery became possible because we thought deeper on what was an evident experience. That apple falls down, that objects fall down was an evident experience. Thinking along that evident experience, we discovered the base of that, and the base of it, not knowing. As long as I didn't know, I wasn't fully in control of gravity. Most often I suffered. A lot of apples had to fall on the head before I woke up. But once I know the gravity, now what do I do with gravity? I wield it. I'm a wielder of gravity. Human being has conquered it as if, yet the gravity continues to remain as is. If you've translated this example into what I'm trying to convey, you're very close to following the class, the session. What is it that we are trying to convey? Atman, your real nature, is evident before you recognize it. Is evident, remains evident after you recognize it. Not knowing it alone is avidya. And till I don't know it, look at all the things human being has. Not knowing is a very important cause of doing things. And doing things means beginning of experiences. You bring about experiences. You begin experiences because you're doing something. Atman is a non-doer. As long as I am not in recognition of an evident experience, I am absolutely flowing away. I'm flowing in this tadatmyam with the body, and whatever experiences of the body I claim as mine, whatever experiences in the experience of the world, contact with the world I get, I call them mine. No doubt, they are relatively to be considered, but only relatively to be considered. No doubt that yes, if a tiger approaches you over here, you can't turn up and say, my nature is Atman. Well, the tiger's nature is also Atman. Therefore, Atman and Atman. No. If relative world, yes, gravity is still the same. So if an apple falls, you're supposed to duck, hold it, eat it. You're not supposed to let the apple fall on your head and then, start massaging your head afterwards and then cry, oh, why did I not catch it? You're supposed to be alert to catch and then use it. That's what the world is meant for. So, Karana Sharir is the very cause, and that is in the form of Anirvachya, Avidya, Anadi, Rupam. Beginningless. When did I make this mistake of calling myself this limited me? Don't worry. Don't go into the realm which you can't discover. If you are going to think in terms of time, you are going to go into wrong lane of thinking. When questioned with avidya is a wrong question. Can I do something about it now? Yes. That is the right approach then. Then what is to be done? He says, keep your inquiry on who you are. Keep figuring out, go deeper and deeper into your evident experience. Don't bother about anything else. With the help of Shastra Gyan, Vedantic Gyan leads your perception glance by glance. It takes you to recognizing it. So that was the three. Vyatirikta from these three. Tadatmyam with the body, Tadatmyam with the thoughts, Tadatmyam with an avidya. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. Most of us spend our life actually in avidya. Most of us, let's presume all of us. Because if any one of us has vidya, job done. Krita krityaha. Shastra says, whatever was to be done, you've done it. Now, job finished. Life purpose is concluded. But if you're on the process of discovering it, you are one glance at a time closer to the perception. Then he said now, Atman, another way of seeing it, recognizing it, evident experience. Never forget this statement. Gaat bandi hai ab aapne. Evident experience. What is another way of seeing it? It's a Sakshi of these three states. Pehle to Sakshi of all that you can see, which means all my gross body. What am I? I'm not the one which has got Tadatmyam with it. I'm the Sakshi of it. With reference to this entire experience of a human life and a human being that I conclude myself to be, my real nature is a Sakshi of it. It is not one of it. I'm not a character in it. I'm the screen on which the whole movie is projecting. I'm not a role in the play. I'm the screen on which the play is projected. I'm not one of the walkie-talkies in between. While I am the walkie-talkie, I'm not one of the walkie-talkies. Remember the sunset example? We may see the sunrise, we may see the sunset. We do not mistake in our thinking that sun rises and sunsets, even if we write poetry around it. Even we go to those sunset points and we view the sunsetting. I love that, sunsetting and sun rising. Yes, it's so beautiful. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. But what is the beautiful part of it? The most beautiful part of it is even I'm enjoying its beauty and every sunrise and sunset is different. I'm enjoying it, but I am aware of the fact sun is eternal. And so I am able to enjoy its coming and going. Imagine if it really was coming and going. Imagine for a moment. If sun was coming and sun was going, sun was rising and sun was setting, would you have the same joy? Why? Because you don't know if tomorrow
Uncertainty. Yeah, there'll be so much uncertainty.
Absolutely correct. There will be so much uncertainty which will grip you that it will affect your enjoyment. This is Vidya. What is the nature of Vidya? Atma Vidya. I know the changeless Atman. I am Vyatiriktaha from all this play that goes on. It makes me enjoy it even more because I'm not a part of it even when I look to be a part of it. Even when I'm playing my roles there. Even when I am, yes, With birth in a family, I am going to enjoy. With death in a family, there will be grief, there will be loss, there will be gain, everything's happening. But that's what's making my life richer, because I am not forgetting. I'm in recognition, I'm in cognition of who the real one is. So it helps me to actually live my life. Now, if people say, oh, I live my life, what is it? Some ad is there, no? Living it to full edge, something like this. It's, of course, an ad for the prohibited drink from the Shastra Drishti. But living life to the edge or something like this it is.
I think living life king size or living life to the
Ah,
fullest.
that's right. Living life king size. Something like this.
Living life to the edge, something on the edge. Living life
On the edge. Something, yeah. Combine them. What does Vedanta make you do? Compound it completely. People don't understand what it is to live life on the edge or live life king size. Why? Because you get involved again and again and again at every point of life. At everything, the perception is, हाय क्या होगा, हाय क्या हो गया, हाय क्या है, अच्छा हुआ, बुरा हुआ, पता नहीं कुछ चलता रहता है. Everything goes on. So what is it that Shastra is really, really telling us? It's telling us this Vyatiriktaha, the one who is separate. You are separate. If you can remember this fact, recognize and remember. Understand at an intellectual level and is first step, no doubt. Thoughts to hone hai na before you recognize it. But the minute this gets certain, then you will watch the whole life in its absolute magnitude. Absolute magnitude, because as is the nature of life, so will the experience be complete. Words which will need explanation by itself. As is the nature of life means change is the nature of life. As long as you are distinct from it, you recognize it, what you are. The changes are not giving you the uncertainty. Exactly like what we said. If you knew the sunrise and sunset, correct answer on the dot, bullseye. If I only know I am not the changing one and mera na bigdega na sudhrega, because na main sudharne wali, it's that limited me is the one that is all in avidya perception. Atma is me. Therefore, you come to this understanding. As much if you've picked this much up and digested it, then you can enjoy the avasthatraya, because it's a daily experience. Daily is also from your waking state. From the Atman state, it is only a recurring experience. Daily is from the waking point of view. From the Atman point of view, there is a recurring experience. What is the recurring experience? It is manifestation, unmanifestation. Manifestation, unmanifestation. There's a manifestation of this Karana Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Sthula Sharir, and identification, जुड़ जाना उसके साथ. Uska pura ka pura expression is the Jagrat Avastha, and then it starts to loosen its hold from the Jagrat Avastha, then it loses its hold from the Sukshma Sharir, then it loses its hold in the Karana Sharir also. It is not in the literal sense of any physical entity there. It is just absence of this entire perceiving world, and therefore you can see the manifestation, it's a cyclical eruption and dissolution. Emergence, dissolution. Emergence, dissolution. And Atma is the... Who gets this now? Atma is a
Witness.
witness, is a Sakshi of it. And who are you? Atma. And what is the nature of this Atma? Sakshi. Now, the minute you get this, imagine it's not going to happen overnight. I understand. We all understand. We all are going through the same purusharth to understand and to abide in it. The minute you see the involvement in the Jagrat Avastha, immediately Vedantas come to your rescue. Feel things, do what is to be done. You cannot avoid them. You are not to avoid them. Scriptural study has in fact been brought out into society so that people can function doing what they are to function better. At the same time, who you are, your journey to know yourself as who you are should be steadfast. While today now the day has emerged, my identification, what is what? Waking state. He said waking state here, 2 minutes more. Waking state here, Shrotradi Gyanindriyaihi Shabda Vishayaischa Gnayate. That state where you are able to see, gain the knowledge of the world, comprising of the objects of sound, smell, taste, touch, and sound, smell,
Taste. Okay.
see. Did I cover all 5? Eyes, ears, nose, smell, tongue and skin. All the 5. In fact, so beautiful it is. Extrapolate it now further. All experiences of life are reduced to all 5. All experience of life will get reduced to 5. This is where adhikaratvam also increases. The minute you understand this, vairagya aa jata hai. Sab jagah pe it is only 5 sense perceptions that are your experience. That is your Jagrat Avastha. The whole Jagrat Avastha is reduced to 5 sense experiences gained by the enlivening 5 organs of knowledge. That is your waking state. Identified completely with the body, the sense, the Gyan Indriya of the Sukshma Sharir are activated to gain the information of the world. And a very important state, waking state, is because only here and only in the human body do you have the key, chabi, that secret chamber. Harry Potter and the Secret Chamber, something like that it was. The secret chamber. Have the key to the secret chamber. What is a secret chamber? Yourself. You is actually in a secret chamber. The key is in the human form. That key is now fully available in the waking state. And the one who's identifying with this waking state, with the gross body, and completely involved thinking that this is real, that Atma name is. Atma experiencing the waking state with the gross body, that Atma is called Vishwa. It's complete. The world and this limited identity completely as one experience that you are experiencing. Vishwa is also another word for Jagat. That is called Jagrat Avastha. What is Jagrat? Jagat. Where Jagat is perceived as Jagrat Avastha. And then we'll come to the Sukshma Shariram tomorrow. Sukshma Sharir and dream state tomorrow. And we've already started before also. Whatever you are now collecting as experience in the state of avidya and calling them as my experience in that limited my, yat trishtam, yat shrutam. All the experiences, because seen and heard are including the other 3 also, the entire Jagrat Avastha experience, are now held as an impression inside. From there, Janita. That impression, Janita, at the time of sleep is another world that emerges. That world in which you see yourself experiencing something else without the Indriya, Gyan Indriya, these Gyan Indriyas functioning. That another world that you see is the dream state. We'll take up this tomorrow. This portion is essential, so I felt it's worth repeating because it is something to be digested. This is Vedanta. You study Vedanta text after text, text after text, years after years, as much as you can. This is the nutshell. The same thing has to be understood again and again, again and again, again and again, because the day the penny drops, the day Newton, how much did he have to think before he realized the gravity figure? एकदम से थोड़ी आ गया था वो. He had to do ज्ञान तपस. It's called ज्ञान तपस. So this is ज्ञान तपस. That Atma you are, knowing it, understanding it. And so we will end the class. Rimju?
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यं परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यं पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः यच्छन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः
ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः Thank you, Deepti ji, so much.
Thank you. You know the recording was not on. I forgot. Forgot to switch on the recording. I can't see the chat, but we'll get the recording from Facebook. Totally forgot about it. Yeah, and there's been a good suggestion. I had also thought about it that I will make the video for chanting separately, so that you don't have to just depend on the classes. There'll be a separate video made totally for chanting. Whenever whoever wants to practice, you can keep practicing, but it'll take me some time because each presentation I need slide and I'm busy doing something else also at the moment. So whenever I can, as soon as I can, I've kept it on a priority. So thank you for the suggestion, and I will try and do it also. Thank you, everyone.